So welcome back to the channel, guys. I just wanted to say thanks for stopping by. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so now. You just click the logo down in the bottom corner there and click on subscribe. It's free and very much appreciated. So last week on the channel, we talked about the brand ambassador deals I have in place for 2020, like with Da Vinci Cycles and Two Wheels and all the other companies that are on board for 2020. But this week I wanted to talk to you about a company that's really stepped up for this upcoming season. As you can see, the shirt I'm wearing, the hat, and the stuff out in front of me here is SR Suntour. They stepped up big time. They have really a great sponsorship package for the channel for the upcoming season. Full suspension components for both bike builds, which is super cool. I've been intrigued by Suntour suspension for a while, ever since I got that radon fork for Mel's old bike that I did their upgrade program, which is a great program where if you can upgrade any of your like lower end Suntour suspension, you can upgrade it to their higher end suspension and get a great discount. So I highly recommend, if you guys do have some lower end SR Suntour suspension, check out the upgrade program. I was really pleased with it last year when I did that with Mel's bike. She's also got the SR Suntour suspension on her Trance, and I've been really intrigued by it, how easy it is to work on, and for great value for what you get. And basically their motto is to bring you the highest quality performance for the best value. And that's what you get with their stuff. With their higher end suspension, it's to me rivals the big guys out there in the industry, and they're sort of like underdogs out there. And I'm really looking forward to 2020, utilizing their suspension and showcasing it on the channel for what it can do. So let's take a look at what the suspension they sent me and what I'll be using for this upcoming season. So first we'll talk about the fork that they sent me that will be going on the hardtail. It's the SR Suntour Aeron fork here. It's a pretty beefy fork, if I must say. It's got a rival up there with some of the big boys out there. It's got 35mm stanchions, so it's the same as like a RockShox Yari has 35mm stanchions, so it's just as stout as that. It does have high and low speed compression, which is super cool. It's got the PCS RC2 damper on it, which has a lot of adjustability. Like I said, high speed and low speed compression, rebound adjustment, of course, down there. Just a great fork for the money, for the value. You're getting an amazing air fork like the Aeron here. So again, the Aeron 35 will be going on the Da Vinci Cobain hardtail build. This one that I got from them comes in at 140mm of travel. So it is adjustable internally from 130 to 160mm of travel. I'm gonna do a video on that in the future on the channel, just how easy that is to adjust. If you've ever done a lower fork service, you can easily change the travel on this fork. Just a couple bolts in the bottom, you slide the lower off, you just basically move a spacer on the air spring and you've adjusted the travel. It's that easy. So we will look at that in the future. So one other cool thing with these forks is they do have integrated fenders. So these just go right on to the fender like so, and they just give a couple little bolts and it actually screws right on to the fork, which is super cool. You don't have to worry about messing around with zip ties and the like. You can just bolt this right onto the fork and it's good to go, which is super cool in my books. It looks nice and factory and no zip ties or Velcro or anything else holding on the fender onto your fork. So next up, we'll talk about the fork that's going on the Spartan. It's the Luxe Super Duty 36mm stanchion fork. It's got 170mm of travel in this fork. Again, it's adjustable from 140 to 170mm of travel internally. Same sort of setup as the Aeron fork, so super easy to adjust the travel on this, depending on what you need it set to. Like I said, this one's coming in at 170 for the Spartan, so that should be super cool. Should also mention both these forks have their Q-Lock style quick release, which is super cool. It's only seen it on Suntour forks. It takes a couple minutes to kind of get used to it, but it actually works really slick, and I'll show this I'll do a close-up showing you guys how this Q-Lock system works. So their Q-Lock 2 system works. Basically, you just unlock the locking lever on the one side of the axle. And it's got this little red thing. You just push this in and turn it counterclockwise, and then the whole axle slides out like so. In just one piece. You don't have to unscrew anything. Then you just push it back in when you need to install it, and then just turn this counterclockwise and lock it back into place, and that's it. So again, with this fork, like I said, 36mm stanchions. The cool thing about this fork, it actually has little valves here that you can grease the wipers without taking the fork apart. You can add just a little bit of grease or fork oil into here through this little valve here. So you can do that without having to take your fork all apart. So if you just need a quick little service, you can do that, which is cool. Again, high speed, low speed compression. It's got the same PCS RC2 damper as the Aeron, rebound adjust, all that stuff. Super cool fork. Can't wait to put this through the paces on the Spartan this coming season. So this is the SR Suntour Tri-Air shock that I'm going to be running on the Spartan. It has 3-mode compression, open, mid, firm. It also has rebound adjust, 8 clicks of rebound on it, which is super cool. It's got the IFP piggyback air system here, PCS cartridge, and it does have an internally adjustable piston in it. So super stoked to be using SR Suntour on both bikes this upcoming season. Now, one thing I did want to mention about SR Suntour, if any of you out there are curious on their higher end suspension, I know you might have a little question like whether it's really as good as it sounds. They do have a demo to your door program, which is super cool little program. You can basically request any other high-end suspension like the Dura fork or the Aeron fork or the Tri-Air shock, and you just pay a deposit and they will send you the fork or shock to your door. You can demo it for 3 weeks and then return it to them, get your full deposit back. And so basically you've tried it for 3 weeks on your bike, free of charge. You can use it on your trails, your terrain, your bike, get a real feel for what the suspension is like. Great deal. I don't see anybody else out there doing that, and highly recommend, if you guys are curious about SR Suntour, to check out that program. It's super awesome. And they ship all their forks, 200mm steerer tube cut to 200mm with the star nut already installed. They give you a bunch of spacers with it so you can make it work with your stem without having to worry about cutting anything or installing anything. You basically just put it on your bike and it's good to go. So again, super awesome program, the demo to your door program. I suggest you guys can check that out. 3 weeks, test out their stuff. So just to finalize, I want to say thank you to SR Suntour for sponsoring the channel in 2020. Can't wait to get this stuff installed. Can't wait to get out there riding. It's the middle of, well, it's actually the middle of January, second week of January, first week of January, something like that when this video posts. So there's still a few weeks before we're going to get into the riding season, maybe go down to the States and test drive some of this stuff sooner than later once I get things built up and I get the Spartan in. But just super pumped about SR Suntour coming on board for the season, and just wanted to thank you guys for stopping by the channel again. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for being part of the community. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so now. You just click the button in the bottom corner there, click subscribe. It's free. I appreciate it. It shows you guys like what I'm doing here, and really means the world to me. So I just want to end this by saying I just hope I can ride with some more of you guys in the future. And as always, keep your feet on the pedals.
Oh, shut your face, Toogie Howser.